Welcome back to the No Fun channel. I'm Felix, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I forget to say it at the beginning, but I know some people have actually been clicking on my podcast. What's funny is I originally started all this just to help with talking because I don't talk that much anymore, even though I work in a call center. And what I mean is I don't get to talk about what I want to talk about. I always gotta, I'm working. Even when I'm talking to my own family, I can't talk about what I want to talk about because no one's interested. I can talk and they're just zone out. So yeah, it's hard to talk when no one wants to listen. So I figured I'll just make a podcast. I mean, no one's listening anyways. and that's pretty much how I got started. Last podcast I talked about, instead of waiting to do something in life, go ahead and do it. Stop sabotaging yourself. So it's been, maybe, did I start 3 years ago? I have to stop. Because I didn't really start the podcast first. I started doing other stuff, reviews, and just kind of got away from reviews. I still do reviews every now and again. There's got to be something that I want to review, not just because it's a new trailer. And like the Lilo and Stitch trailer, I did review that, but then I still had no desire to go see it. And then I heard all the bad stuff about it. I was like, I'm definitely probably never going to go see it. If I see it, it'll be on TV. I'm not going to the theater to see it. I think it's out of theaters now. And one thing they were talking about on a couple YouTube channels is that Sinners proved that we want original stuff. I mean, the concept itself is not a new idea, but it's original. It was an original movie, and the movie companies are talking about we're moving forward with Sinners 2. It's like, why? You don't need a Sinners 2. We need to get back to doing one-off movies. We need to get back to mid-movies. Because those, I forget who it was. It was I don't know who he was. I was watching someone react to someone else's video. It was in Inner City, was reacting to someone else's video. And he was talking about, we need to get back to movies where we're just having fun. We need to get back. And he even brought up how mid-tier movies are not a thing. You can't have a mid-tier movie or a theater flips out. And we need to get back to that. And to add on top of that, we really don't do straight-to-video movies anymore because VCR is on a thing. And it's hard to do. And people, I don't know how many people will, do straight to YouTube video because YouTube does have a lot of restriction. Because like B movies were just, the Scream Queen or boobs are out. But YouTube does have parental advisory. Patreon, OnlyFans. Maybe I'll get some money together and start making some B-tier movies. I might do that. Or make some B-tier animation. And put it on Patreon and OnlyFans. And go from there and see what happens. I've been trying to get back into drawing and animation. I was talking about that last time. And I'll put a link to my old artwork. I haven't done anything recently. I showed where I did an old sketch. Or I started a sketch. Haven't finished it. And I went back. Every time I go to touch it, it's like, I'm wore out. I really wasn't going to talk about this at first, but yeah, I have no focus. I've been trying to get my focus fixed. I have a doctor's appointment coming up, and I'm going to see about getting tested for ADHD, see if that helps. But overall, I'm trying to get back into, instead of waiting until tomorrow, I'm going to do it today. Trying to get into that attitude. I wish I started this stuff in my 20s. I didn't. YouTube was not around the way it is now in my 20s. I could have started in my 30s doing it, but I didn't, and I wish I had. I think I was just too scared back then, and now that I'm older, I've kind of kicked the scare to the side. I mentioned I'm not doing TikTok that much anymore because I don't know what happened on TikTok, but I'm getting no views, so I'm going to have to think of what to do on TikTok. Because my TikTok is pretty straightforward. I'm not really doing much on there. I was talking about my weight loss journey, but even that's getting like 1 or 2 views. No biggie. But overall, I am just going to keep pushing forward and see what happens. But really what I want to talk about was relationships. And the reason I watched this video, a guy I've never watched before was reacting to another woman reacting to another woman. So it was like a reactor reacting to a reactor reacting to a TikTok. I think she was a TikToker or influencer. I can't remember which platform. But I've reacted to reactors reacting to stuff. I've reacted to reactors reacting to their own video, so I've done that. But this one was interesting because the woman in the video was reacting to another woman. Well, the man was reacting to a woman who was talking about body odor. And I thought it was interesting because the original one, her whole thing is she does waxes. She waxes people, and she was blunt about it. She was like, some of y'all stink, and she's letting them know that she's not trying to shame anyone, but you need to think about that when you go someplace. And I've heard this before, where people talk about they've had women come in and they just smell and they refuse to do it. It's like, I'm not doing this. You smell, you need to go get that checked out, go wash. And the woman who smells is offended. Like, I don't smell. And they want to fight. And it's like, you stink down there. Something's wrong. You need to go get checked. And I don't think a lot of women, I dated a girl who, when we were together, she was worried about down there. And I don't smell anything, so you're good. And we were together for probably about a year, maybe. But yeah, she was worried about it. She was mindful of it. And guys can actually get smelly down there too. Not in the same way that women do, but guys can get smelly down there too. But her whole thing is that she's had women come in who have just had sex and stuff is oozing out. She's had women who come in who just came from the gym and they're all sweaty down there. And she's had women who just had it caked in their butt. And it's like just tons of poo in there. And she's like, no. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, that is gross. I wouldn't want to hook up with a girl. I'm getting her legs up and there's poo right there. I'm like, oh, no, get out. She done on my bed. It's like, get out. Get out. I've had my moments, but, if I'm going somewhere, in my last podcast, I actually talked about how since I've been working from home, I didn't shower as much for a while there. Like, my showering time was going down, then I finally snapped out of it, and now I'm trying to be conscious to at least shower every other day. Even though I still kind of don't go anywhere. I go to the gym, but I will shower before I go to the gym and then shower when I get home. Because I don't want to go to the gym and be the stinky guy at the gym. So I'll shower before I go to the gym. So that's helped a lot. But I'm not going to the gym anymore right now because there was a lot of stuff going on. Nothing major. Like daughter graduated high school. Making sure she's getting ready for college. So I was just stressed out. And I was like, I got to let go to working out for a moment. I'm going to try to get back in. I'm going to try to go today. Came up with an excuse to not go. But tomorrow I'm off, so I'm going to go early. The upside of being off, I like going early, like around 10, 11 o'clock, because there's no one there. It's a true ghost town. So I'm definitely going to go early tomorrow. Friday, we're going to the amusement park. But depending on what time we get back, I'm still go to the gym later that night. Hopefully I've got enough cardio that I can walk around everywhere at the amusement park. But I may try to go to the gym Saturday too. So I'll go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Monday I'm off. I got a doctor's appointment. So I'm going to go to the doctor, get checked out, and then go to the gym. So hopefully I can get back in there. But back to body odor, she was talking about that, and she translated that to also relationships, talking about, would you want to be with your partner like that? And it was like I just mentioned, would you want to put a girl's leg up in the air and then see all that caked in there? Same for guys, you and your girl about to get on, she decides she's going to go down, and she gets down there, and she's just hit with this funk of poo and urine and everything else down there. It's like, ugh. And yeah, if you're going to go places, if you're going to be with someone, you want to make sure you're take care of yourself. And to me, it was just like, yeah, I always make sure if I'm going on dates, if they're coming over, all that stuff, like house was clean, or back in the day, apartment was clean, I was done up, and So when they come over, nice place. I'm looking nice and so fresh and so clean. And it amazes me how many people don't do that anymore. It's like an epidemic to where they just don't care. They're like, you take me as I am. They don't even want to put their best foot forward. They don't even want to try. It's just like, I give up. But I also I was watching something else where, this isn't new, but there was what was that one? It talked about basically where these women were either testing, like there was a Reddit story, and two people covered the Reddit story at the same time, probably more than that, but the two I found, they had done it around the same time. And basically the Reddit story was the guy pulls a prank, the girl pulls a prank on her boyfriend, and it was just like, that's a stupid prank. The reason it was a stupid prank is because she got pretty much butt naked and was straddling another guy, a guy who's supposed to be their friend. And it was just like, even though it was a prank, it was a stupid prank, because if I walked in on my wife straddling another guy, they better hope I don't crash out. And especially this guy's supposed to be your friend. Oh, I'm crashing out. I'm probably going to crash out and hurt him, hurt her, maybe hurt them, like take their heads. But the whole thing was, why are you in your underwear? If she wasn't in her underwear, maybe he could have been a little more forgiving. But the whole thing was, why are you in your underwear? She was in her underwear, he was in his underwear, and they tell me it's a prank. Of course, the first thing everyone thought, they probably set it up to make it look like it's a prank, when in reality they were cheating. They tried to get him to watch the video to prove it was a prank. He didn't want to watch it. And if I had watched that video, I probably would have beat them both. Like, this is a stupid prank. Obviously, he was trying to get you naked. Like he's a crap friend. And what made it worse for me is that he had so-called friends talking about, it's just a prank. I'm thinking, those are not your friends. And one of the people who watched that video, Dusty Thunder, he put it in, he's like, those friends are single. And I was like, yeah, they probably are. Or they've done it and they're hoping that if he can forgive, their partner forgive them or something like that. Or they're hoping to do it. And no, it was Dusty Thunder and Smosh Pit that both covered the story at the same time. What was interesting about it was Dusty actually had more to the story. So I think he may have gotten his second, because it turns out she posted her side, which didn't help at all. It just reinforced what he was saying. But yeah, I did talk about it in a couple podcasts ago, where it's like, don't pull pranks like that. It's stupid. It's dangerous. It's stupid. And that ended up in a 2-year relationship going down the drain. But yeah, but back to hygiene, it's like, how could you not, sorry, I'm studying all work. When I worked at a bank, I was face to face with the customer. There was this married couple that would come in. The wife would be, for the most part, dressed nice, smelled nice. The husband, dear God in heaven's name. It wasn't even, it was like, I can't describe it. It was like stale BO. And I was just like, it's stale BO. It's like, I can't explain it. It was a unique odor. It was a unique smell. And just like, wow. And, and it would kind of sit there. It was like that. It's just like, God. But yeah, I don't know how she did it. And that's why I try to be mindful, working from home, trying to get back in the habit of make sure I don't want to think about my wife and kids. That's why I was like, let me know, I'll go take care. My brain is just like, I'm home, I'm not going anywhere. And then I got to run myself, well, you still need to take care of yourself. And I don't know where this mindset for everyone else came from. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe they're working from home and they're not thinking about it. And they just need to be more mindful. But also, I recently also saw a video talking about being mindful of, around your partner of things. Is that I watched a video of this woman just sat there as her, I don't know if it was her husband or boyfriend, but he left. He took the kids. He took everything. talking about he'd leave me over an Xbox. I was like, there's more to it than just an Xbox. He didn't take the kids and everything with him over just an Xbox. The Xbox was probably the final straw. And then there was another video where the little girl's destroying the man's stuff, and the woman's like, you're overreacting, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, she took a hammer to his monitor, and the little girl's just laughing. It kind of felt fake, but you see enough of those things to where then you know there are idiots who do that stuff. So it's like, that's not good. Those are toxic relationships. And what's sad is that I'll see people excuse that behavior. And it's like, I see them excuse it more for women than men. It's like, that's ridiculous. That shouldn't be an excuse for anyone. And that comes back to men. That also brings up men swinging on women. A lot more men are swinging back. It's like they're done with the whole turning the other cheek. There was a video, there was a girl sitting on the video, black eye, and she's telling a story about how this guy was calling women names, and this guy was talking to two girls, calling them names, and she goes up to the guy and swings on him, hits him, and he decked her. And, you know, people will say, I don't condone violence. I do. I'm just going to be blunt. If you're willing to swing on me, I'm swinging back. And my first thought isn't going to be, are you a male or female? My first thought is, who swung on me and who do I need to knock out? That's going to be my first thought. And I'm probably going to swing before I even, like if I see where the fist came from, I'm just going to swing. And if it turns out it's a woman, I've already hit her. And then, you know, suddenly the macho men, when it comes to the rescue, it's like, where were you when she swung on me? And I may have to beat them down too. It's like, I have to just beat down everyone. But yeah, don't go hitting people. You know, my daughter knows better than to just go up to people and hit them. Especially if they're bigger than you. What does these women who are like 5 foot nothing swinging on guys? It's like, a lot more guys are swinging back. There's the old video of the guy who picked a woman up and body slammed her when she swung. Like, he walked away. She swung on him from behind. He body slammed her. She did go on the internet and said, no, she deserved it. She was in the wrong. Her man showed up and pretty much was yelling at her for swinging on the guy in the first place. It's like, if I found out my wife swung on a guy and he hurt her, I'm going to fight the urge to go hurt the guy, because I'm going to be like, wait, why did you swing on him? You swung first? You shouldn't have swung. First off, you know, especially my wife. My wife has no muscle tone. She can't fight. So if I find out she swung on a guy, I'm going to be like, what happened? Did he grab you? Walk me through this. If it turns out he grabbed her or did something, then yeah, I'm going to go hunt him down. But if it turns out they were just arguing and she swung, let's go home. If you need to go to the doctor, let's take you to the doctor. Keep your hands to yourself. That's how we raise our kids, is like, keep your hands to yourself. And unless they're putting hands on you, keep your hands to yourself. It's just words, walk away. Because you can walk away from words, but if you throw the first punch, you're going to be the one in trouble. But yeah, it's I just, when I saw that one about body odor, it was just like, yeah. And just all these videos of relationship. One of the things, I might do more relationship advice, because I need to make note of the stuff I see. Because one thing, there was a woman made fun of men's mental health, and man, she got tore apart. People went for her left and right, and she like deleted the video, blocked stuff, you know, went private. You got to be careful with that stuff, you know. I don't understand people who mock men's mental health. It's like, the men have come a long way. We're just trying to get better, and but it seems like the more we try to get better, the more people want to mock us for it, which does not make any sense. But also, you have those women who fight for men's mental health, and a lot of people point out that some of those women are just doing it for the likes and clicks to get men to go to their OnlyFans. And I'm not surprised by that. I mean, it's the same reason if you see black people do political stuff on the MAGA stuff, that they support MAGA, and because there was a recent video, I guess this girl was doing MAGA, and she got him to support her college, pay for her college and everything. She goes, then she comes back around like, F all of y'all. She did it just to get them to pay for everything. And they did. They paid for her to go to college and everything. And it worked out for her. I was like, nice. And she was black. And she managed to trick MAGA people to pay for her to go to college. I was like, I need to figure that out. I can't do it. No, my stuff would be found. Well, they're always on Twitter. I could set up a Twitter account. They probably wouldn't find me until it was too late. But yeah, it's just... But yeah, people, you gravitate towards what's going to make you money. And I could try to be like the next Kevin Samuels, but I'm not Kevin Samuels, I'm me. And about Kevin Samuels, also, for those of you who don't know, he passed away a couple years ago. But one of the things that was odd about, there were women celebrating his death. It's like, what is wrong with you? Because everyone thought he was a woman hater. And the truth is, he didn't just hate on women. He hated on everybody equally. If you ever actually watch this video, he go after men, he go after women. But someone would edit his video to make it look like he was only going after women, and he wasn't. He was going after men. Like, I remember one video, guys talking about, he's a little out of shape, and he goes, "You're fat. Go to the gym, get in shape, and just admit you're fat." I was just like, damn. And one other thing, another guy was talking about women want men with money. He goes, "Why are you trying to date those women? Stop trying to date those women." Now, he was just being brutally honest, is what it was. I would say, like I said, he wasn't just being honest. He was being brutally honest. He wasn't holding back. He was telling you what you didn't want to hear. And that was the truth. And there are times he was talking to women, like he'd be FaceTiming with them and tell them, he flat out would tell them that you're not a you're not a high value woman. So you need to lower your standards. And the same with men, and he was like, those women don't want you, so why are you going after them? So I could do something along those lines, maybe not as brutally honest, but another reason I wanted to kind of, I guess, get into relationships, because I've been seeing a lot of relationship videos where the extremists on both sides have people thinking that this is the world of dating, and it's not. This is a small niche. If anything, this represents maybe 10% of dating in the United States, if not the world. And my whole goal would be to get people to understand that there's more out there than just what's online. And yeah, there's a lot of people online, and you just got to be upfront with whoever you date. It's like, hey, I'm not really big into online. If you are, that's great. We can go our separate ways. Sorry to waste your time and move on. Probably the only thing you would have to worry about if he or she is big into online, that they go online and make a video about you and use your picture. You may have to get lawyers involved, or just ignore it and move on. A lot of times it's best just to ignore it and move on. But yeah, unless they go all out, like stalking you, online and trying to ruin you, a lot of times it's just best to move on. But yeah, because the reason I was thinking about this, because like I said, on both sides, they're extremists. And I've seen on both sides where, all women are this, all men are that. I hate that. I try to avoid saying all on a lot of things, because not all men are the same, not all women are the same. I've said this before. When I was single, and I discovered, even when I was out of shape, I started getting out of shape probably late 20s. But even then, I was still able to get women. And I discovered it had nothing to do with my body. It had to do with what's up here. Once I capitalized on that, it was all good. And like I said, I've said this before, where in high school is when I discovered that I was cute. I just had been so used to, like, growing up, I'm a light-skinned black man with freckles, so I got made fun of a lot, even by girls. Then I hit high school, and it was like the girls kind of changed. Were like, oh, hey, Felix. And as I got older and I left where I lived and moved someplace else, the women were like, oh, hey, Felix. They didn't know me from high school, so I could be the different version of me that I wanted to be. And it was awesome. And I dated. And then, and that's one of the things that I don't see, is that people talking about, be yourself, but also if you don't like yourself, change yourself. But the extremists on both sides will have you just thinking that all women want this, all men want this. And the reality is everyone's different. Now, if you're a guy trying to date a woman who wants a guy with all this money, all this, that, and that, and you don't have it, why are you trying to date that? Because you don't have it. Move on. And if you're a woman trying to get a high value man and you don't know what a high value man wants in a woman, you're going to be really shocked at what they want from you. Because some of these high value men just want sex and some want a slave. And that's not a joke. You have to wait on them hand and foot. You're their punching bag. And that's not a joke either. So, yeah. And when I hear like people talking about wealthy women trading down, having to trade down, it's like they never say that men like having to trade down when they date below their station. It's only when I hear women making all this money that they have to trade down. How about if you're in a comfortable position, you just date whoever you want to date? How about that? Because I've noticed women who trade down, if you will, are actually happier because they can date because they realize I don't just have to date people in my own tax bracket. I can date anybody I want. And they don't have to right off the bat be like, hey, I'm filthy stinking rich. They can just date and see where it goes. If it turns out the person they met is a good guy, then they be like, oh, by the way, I'm filthy stinking rich. And the guy's like, seriously? Now, the guy might be a little upset if you haven't paid for everything. It's like, you got me paying for everything. Now, if the guy insisted on paying for everything after she offered to pay, she can be like, yo, you offered to pay for everything. I tried to pay. You wouldn't let me. But, yeah, you just got... I think they need to remove that whole dating within your own tax bracket thing. Because if I dated within my own tax bracket, I wouldn't have met my wife. Because she pretty much didn't have a job, and I was working McDonald's. Technically, I was in a higher tax bracket than her. And now she's in a higher tax bracket than me. And it's awesome. I wish we were better off because I could be a kept man. Maybe one day that'll happen. But yeah, I think my goal, if I did go down that road, like, I'll probably start finding videos and kind of just talk about them here on the podcast and just kind of go over them and be like, this is what you don't do this. Don't listen to this person. But yeah, we're back to the women who support men and men's mental health. I do know a lot of them do it because it's profitable. Let's be honest about it. That's why a lot of them do it. I won't say all of them, but there are a lot of them that do it. And I think I would have more respect for them if they were just honest about it, to be honest with you. But yeah, you know, I didn't like or dislike Kevin Samuels also. I didn't follow him, but when he came on, I listened to what he was saying versus what the person was saying. And I'm like, I hear no lies. I was like, you can't date outside your range if you're not willing to move up to that range. And like I said, a lot of dating is psychological. You got to be willing to change your mindset when it comes to dating. And especially when it comes to your preferences. I mean, we're all allowed to like what we like, but I've discovered a lot of people like stuff that they think they should like. And that can mess you up a lot. Because I see it more with women. I'll take it back. Growing up, I saw it a lot more with men, but lately I see it a lot more with women. It's like it's just a transition thing. And more men are realizing I can date whoever I want. Now, I will admit, it's a lot of older men. I would say late 20s to death. And as for women, it's weird with women. I notice they start off realizing they can date whoever they want. Then they realize, oh, I can only date with this. And then they go back to, I can date whoever I want. And then it's like they go back to, well, I'm just going to date this. And it's like, why pigeonhole yourself? Go all out. You know, go from this range to this range. Now, if we're talking age-wise, that's different. I'm not talking age-wise. Don't do anything illegal. And I don't mean do, it's technically legal crap. I mean, just don't. But like I'm almost 50. And let's say hypothetically I had an 18-year-old hitting on me and I knew she was 18. I'd be like, no. Maybe because we're not going to have anything in common, first off. Unless it's just straight physical. That would be it. But I've thought about this. If I ever got divorced, what would be the youngest I would go? And I thought maybe 30s. I'd probably do 30s. I would say 30 and older. Maybe a few late 20s, but I'll be honest, maybe 25 and older. There we go. Good round number. Half my age. There we go, 25. But yeah, probably anything I probably wouldn't do anyone in the 20s, actually. Just if I was going to date. If we're talking purely physical, I could do 25. But yeah, it's just, all the extremists out there when it comes to dating, somehow we got to stop them, man. It's especially a lot of these extremist podcasts and what they call the feminazis and man haters and women haters. And I don't get it. It's like, if you really actually want to date, the first thing you need to do is look in the mirror. And that's a problem for a lot of people, not just men, not just women. It's both. You got to look in the mirror. And you got to be honest with yourself. Because there have been times where I've looked at guys and you see them snap and no woman wants me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you're actually not bad looking. It's got to be your personality. And then you discover it's their personality. And it's like, sometimes I wish I could meet some of these guys like, dude, it's your personality, right? You're a weird dude mentally. You need to go talk to someone about that. And then on the flip side, women, when they're weird, guys let that slide. And like, you really shouldn't let that slide. Because there have been times where I've seen attractive women who can't who can't keep a man. They can get a man to have sex with them, but they can't keep a man. Because the man gets to know them and realize, oh my God, you're crazy. And they literally run for their lives. So that's something you got to take into consideration. Like, how crazy are you? And on both sides, you got to be willing to admit the truth. And I've said it before, if you're constantly single, it's you. And I ain't talking about, when do we blame the victim sometimes? Because there are times where you hear about someone who's constantly in abusive relationships. Men and women, like the guys are always with women who beat them or swing on them. And the women are always in abusive relationships, always dating narcissists. I did hear something interesting about that whole narcissist thing, is that, yeah, if you were really dating a narcissist, you wouldn't be on the internet, which is true. But still, you hear about the story, the aftermath of how they were in these abusive relationships and all this stuff. And you're just like, how are you consistently in an abusive relationship? You actively look for that. You look for a certain person. And a lot of times out here, where they're hiding their true selves. If you date enough people, you'll be able to spot the ones that are hiding their true self. You may not spot them all, but you'll be able to start spotting. There'll be little telltale signs to where you can be like, let me get out of this relationship. Even if it turns out you're wrong, it's better to err on the side of caution. Get out. Just get out. So yeah, so on both sides, men and women, when you're constantly in bad relationships, the common denominator is you. Now, that doesn't mean I think the person has the right to swing on you just because you sneezed funny. It doesn't mean they have the right to take your life. I'm just saying it could have been avoided. At some point, you got to realize it's you. And I don't mean like it's you pushing them to be violent or anything like that. I mean, it's you choosing to be with people who are violent. Get the hell away from them. And if you go back and reevaluate all those bad relationships and look at them, you'll discover you've been dating the same person over and over and over. But yeah, next time I come across some of those relationship videos, I'll definitely try to mark them and save them and kind of go over them and point out all the things they've said wrong. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Everyone take care. Later.